Season 3. We are here at beautiful Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. I'm joined in commentary by Mark Bratby once again, who joined us last weekend for our double back-to-back racing. It looks as though this is going to be a much bigger lobby than usual, so hopefully we can get things underway and quite quickly. So without further ado, we did actually ended up getting an extra random, which I've just now booted out, so that's all good to go. Every driver here pretty much is good and ready. Mark, welcome to the show.
Morning, Rick.
So,
Morning, everybody else watching.
So Silverstone is what is going on? I'm still getting complete randoms here. I'm starting to think because hang on, I'm just going to check something out here, and maybe it's because I've set it to thing, it's just going to bring randoms in. So I think what I'm going to do actually is just create a new lobby and fix things up that way. So deeply apologise, we'll just press on irrespective. So bear with me for a second. I'm just going to make sure that everyone is back in. Starboy, no. Just making sure that everyone is in. Everyone, I guess you've just allowed everyone to know that that's what's happened.
Yeah. I've just told everyone what's going on, so hopefully they all get the invite and they come over.
Yep, looks like it's everyone. I'll just fix this up. Cool, we're all good to go in that front. Looks like nearly everyone's pretty much turned up. And now we'll just wait and see. I think we expected 15 drivers, was it? Just before I disappear.
We've got 13 at the moment, yeah.
Just see who hasn't turned up at the moment. We just...
Gina's yet to pick a car.
Oh, actually, someone's just said multiplayer in the lobby, which leads me to believe... No, that's...
We've got... Klaus has just joined again. One, two Mercedes, two Ferraris.
So that's now 14, so... Must be someone else.
Two Renaults. Two McLarens, two Salvas, I'll just do this easy one. No Force News yet.
We won't be having any Force Indias today because Eric Ungers looks like he's missed his mark, and Bojan, so Bojan is reportedly having to take his kid to the doctor. So let's just see what we've got. So we've got so we have both Mercedes, both Ferraris, both Saubers, both Red Bulls, both Renaults, both McLarens, and okay, there's our 15th driver, Sterling West, our race winner for the Australian Grand Prix.
Australian GP, that's right. Yep.
So I'll get you to jump to spectator.
Yep.
And we are pretty much good to go. I will now just notify the people in the thing. So good to go, guys. Good to go. We are good to go.
sorry for that little hiccup there, ladies and gentlemen, but we'll get underway very shortly.
We have now pretty much sorted out the situation. We are now pretty much set to go for our first weekend of racing. Official, I suppose we'd call it our official week back of racing, with the F1 and F2 having a couple of weeks off for Christmas break, New Year's break, and we will be having another week off as of next week as well for other reasons, and then we resume pretty much straight up till the first weekend of February, another break there, and then we carry on uninterrupted till the end of the season. So, Silverstone, where it all began, the British Grand Prix, the very first race of the Formula One World Championship. Now, just a bit of interesting bit of trivia for you. This year's Chinese Grand Prix will mark the 1000th Formula One Grand Prix race. So, back in 1950, the British Grand Prix was the very first Grand Prix to be held, and this year we mark our 1000th. So, it'll be interesting to see which driver will have the prestige honour of taking the 1000th Formula One race win. Wouldn't know what the 500th was. They're probably going quite a fair bit back, but that's there. This is now. So, Silverstone, one of the most iconic tracks on the Formula One World Championship calendar. Mark, how would you describe this if you were given a definition? How would you define Silverstone?
Oh, look, it's one of those tracks. You either like it or you hate it. Yeah, personally, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I prefer the older layout. But yeah, it's a nice track to drive, and as we just wait for the first couple of cars to come out on track, here we go. We got a Red Bull.
One of the most interesting things about the Silverstone circuit is that it is one of the very few tracks that use their hard tyre, but whoever's going to use the blue coloured hard tyre will remain to be seen. Generally, the way that the tyres work around the circuit is that it's quite easy to use the mediums and the softs. Now, we've got PLX Blaze. He's a new driver to our course. His name is Ashley Lawrence. Actually, I never did grab the gender, so it could be a female, could be a male, I don't know, we'll find out one way or another later down the road. But also running the number 97, which is my personal racing number in the F2 category, and you'll see that on the Red Bull next season. So you got a good look there of what the 97 is going to look like next season when I move to Red Bull for season 4 and my final outing as a full-time driver. So
we've got a few guys on track at the moment.
Well, we do actually have a driver looking. If you have a look at your fitted tyre scheme, we do have a driver that looks like they could be doing a run on the hards, and that is one of our other new drivers, Chain Game Wow, better known as Robin Kreft. Now, Robin Kreft was actually someone who was actually a fan of ours before he actually joined. So he was quite commonly in the comments section, commenting on the races. So he's finally made the step up into the race itself. So the British driver will be trying to do well at his home Grand Prix. Just having a look through the list of the drivers at the moment, we have at least 3 drivers. Just 2 drivers at the moment that'll be running their home Grand Prix today, and that is Robin Kreft and Ashley Lawrence, who we are watching now as they tackle this demanding circuit. I wouldn't call it tight, I wouldn't call it flowing, but it's a circuit that really, it's brutal on the tyres. Well, Ashley's actually aborted that lap, so I'm not 100% sure what has sprung that. He's either opted that he hasn't had a good run out of corner validation and he's just looking after the tyre. And ooh, now that's interesting. Oh, okay, yep, we have Diogo Cruz off the circuit, and it looks like it could have been an altercation with Eric Silverstone, and as a result, Eric's been given a 5-place grid penalty for his effort. So
that's unfortunate for Eric,
especially given his championship stanza. Now, Diogo's just had a really big off. And to me, that looked almost somewhat intentional, like he did it on purpose or something like that. I'm not sure, but he's had a really huge moment. He's actually managed to come out of it in one piece. It doesn't actually look like he's got any damage either, so a very strange incident there, but it looks like he's managed to come out of it with partial wing damage. Might have been just, maybe he just got off the accelerator too early and fired into the fence. Now we're just going to figure out who actually with
just riding on board Gino for the last sector of the course here, coming into the main stadium area.
So he'll be the first driver, I'm guessing, that'll be setting a flying lap, and it's going to be a 1 minute.
1:31 flat.
But who is? And then Ryan Connolly does a 1:31.8 on the medium, so it's hard to say that whether that's representative time, because we've got F1 drivers that can do 25s, 26s.
Yeah,
so
that's right. Yeah.
We'll see when who's going to be next to cross the line.
Matthew's about to just start his flyer. So I'll sit on board Matthew and run you through the course layout.
Oh, so Matthew Elliott goes to the top with a 1:29.4.
There you go. I thought he was just starting his fly. So
and immediately downed by Leonardo Martins, one of our newer drivers this weekend, second Ferrari driver to fill in for alongside Ryan Connolly, his teammate, and then one driver.
Strangely enough, this guy's done it on the medium tyres.
He has too.
So.
And now, oh, there we go, Adri Garcia to the top with a 27.8.
27.8,
that's valiantly faster. That's 2 seconds faster than anyone on the track so far. And of course, Adri Garcia has already tasted success this weekend, well, this season, with a win at the Spanish Grand Prix, his home win. Apparently, we've got a drama with. His name's actually escaped me at this present moment of time. I think it's Alexander Zayak in the second of the Mercedes.
Yep.
I'll just double check that. I've got a list here just so I don't butcher people's names. So,
just riding on board here with the Williams driver.
Where is
just aboard this flat.
Yep, Alexander. Yep, it was Alexander Zaha from Poland. So other drivers yet to see. We haven't seen another time set by anyone else just yet, but like I say, this guy here who we're riding with right now, Sterling West, definitely want to keep an eye out for him. Sterling definitely gave us a bit of a an eye raiser last weekend when initially set a 1:31.5, which we later was informed that he actually had a spin during the lap.
Yeah.
And then blasted out a pole time that was eventually actually displaced by Diogo Cruz, who hasn't actually set a lap yet, but I'm given that his situation with Eric has probably put a few paths into that.
He's just starting his outlap now. He's coming through Maggott and Beckett's.
Now Robin Kreft has come in too, so I'm thinking he's either invalidated his lap or he's come to think that the hard tyre has not proven to be the right choice. So here comes Diogo Cruz. He's now finishing his outlap and is about to start a flyer.
Yep.
One driver I thought would be out right now setting some times is Yefene, but yeah, Yefene hasn't even come out yet. His teammate Classes now.
Classes out.
Actually, Lawrence is now coming out for a flyer. He's on an outlap now. Someone has set a time. Aiden Raphael, the second Sauber driver, who, like I said, has made his first race appearance after missing nearly every single race since F3 started. He's finally making his race debut today, and he's already done a good job to be P4 on the mediums, just behind Luca Montagueza in the second Red Bull. So everyone's kind of been in close proximity at the moment from position 3 to position 5, as Sterling now goes to the top with a 1:30.27.83. 2/100ths of a sec, 2/1000ths of a second faster than Adri Garcia, and on contrasting tyre choices. So Adri's definitely got the measure and the strategy side of things. So I wonder if Sterling didn't have the greatest laps, or maybe Adri's just got a real good setup for the car. But either way, Leonardo Martins has improved on his previous time to do a 1:28.222 on the mediums. Still no one else yet to set a time yet, and we're still waiting to see what Diogo Cruz can do. Of course, Diogo taking 2 consecutive pole positions last weekend too, so could he make it 3 in a row? Doesn't look like he's going to do it this time around. It looks he's taken Maggots and Beckett's. Yeah, he took Maggots and Beckett's quite gingerly. Now, someone else has set a time. So it's Eric Siverson has set a 1:30.1 to sit behind his championship rival in Matthew Ayler. Matthew's done a pretty good job to be on a 29.4. Now, I think it was on the... I'll just check the fastest. Yeah, it was set on the... the white stripe soft tyre, yellow soft.
Yellow stripe soft tyres.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to get it out eventually. Now, right now, so Diogo's actually backed off again. So obviously he's probably going to just jump on a set of softs and just not worry about strategy too much. Class is now coming in. He's only done a reconnaissance lap from the looks of it. He hasn't actually been able to set a flyer yet, and his teammate Yafine is just about to start a flying lap right now. So what we're actually going to do is ride on board with Yafine and do a virtual lap. Now you're going to come and notice that the T-Cam on my perspective looks a bit further away. This is just something I was testing out to see if it would help improve my driving ability. Now, this weekend I'm at a bit of a disadvantage because I'm not actually at home. I'm actually house sitting for a friend, and I didn't bring my wheel with me, so I'll be driving with a pad. So for those viewing the F2 this weekend, if my driving looks as worse than usual, I deeply apologise, but I'm not using my wheel. So so heading into turn 2, he's gone heavily deep into 2. 3, yeah, and then 4. He could still make it up. He just needs to be careful. But at the moment, it's looking possible for a Renault back row, which would be quite an interesting concept, given Yafine with his 2 front row starts in Australia and China. So it would be very disappointing to see him all the way at the back after 2 good rounds. Of course, we did have that altercation with the driver, who we're not going to mention anymore. We're just going to call him the driver, who ultimately ruined Yafine's race in Australia, which could have been Yafine's first official race win. He has got an unofficial race win, as opposed to Liam West leaving the league after going back-to-back wins in Austria and Azerbaijan. So actually, I've just noticed Ashley Lawrence has done a good job. Yeah, Ashley Lawrence has done a good job to be in position 5. So Red Bull sharing positions 4 and 5 on the grid at the moment.
Yep.
And not that far apart. Only 3/100ths of a second, 1,000ths of a second. So Yafine is going to probably have another go. So we won't watch it again, because we've already pretty much given you a good demonstration of how the circuit works. A very big handful of names that we thought would be up the front currently still trying to get a lap in. So here's Diogo Cruz coming through the last.
Diogo's just coming through the last sector now.
And I think he's about to set his starter's flyer. So he's about to start his flyer. So let's have a look and see how they practice. So through turn 1, beautifully handled. Of course, DRS now on the main straight. How does he approach 2? Does he lock up like Yafine? No, he's actually able to get it in quite nicely. Throws it into turn 4. How about 5? How does he approach 5? Oh, the rear just loves to step out through there. It's a very tricky corner on the best of days. So while we wait to Diogo to set a flying his flyer, the current order stands at Sterling West from Adri Garcia. Then it's Leonardo Martins, Luca Monteghezza, Ashley Lawrence, Aidan Raphael, Matthew Alia, Eric Siverton, Ryan Connolly, Genia Bondarenko. That makes up your top 10. And then the drivers yet to set a time are Robin Kreft, Diogo Cruz, Alexander Ravak. Let me just double check that. Alexander Zaha, and then Klaas Versema and Yevgeny Delacau. Okay, so and Robin Kreft up to position 4 with a 29 flat.
Oh, on mediums, that's very well done.
So here comes Diogo. What can he do? He's on the soft tyre, so he should jump somewhere near the top. He goes to the top with a 27.4, so already showing. Now I think Sterling has Sterling was actually already on the softs when he said his fastest. So
yeah, Sterling's on the floor at the moment.
I would have thought, honestly, I would go, even on the mediums, I would not go any more than 2 laps on a set of tyres. Now, Adri Garcia, on the other hand, this could get really messy. Adri, good man.
Boys got out of the way, very well done there. Funny you say that, actually, Brett. We done
Sterling's backed off.
Sterling's boarded the lap. We done a practice session yesterday, and we found that it took 2 laps to get the softs to the right temp. Which doesn't really hurt your race strategy. You can comfortably do the softs onto the mediums as one stop. So yeah, it might actually pay to do 2 out laps and then a flyer on your soft tyres.
Well, Yefene, just to interrupt you there, Yefene has managed to put in a lap time, but it's only a 1 minute 29.1. So unless he can pull something out and opt to change his strategy, because at the moment the best strategy at play is Adri Garcia with P3 on the mediums. There's not a lot of other drivers really running this strategy, so you're probably better off just jumping on the softs, banging out a flyer and doing it. And you want to do it now because the pit lane on the circuit is so long that you don't want to you don't want to waste any time. So I actually don't even think Yefene is going to be able to get another lap in. So
no, probably not. Being he's only just coming in. Time they push the car in.
He basically needs a 1 minute. He needs basically a 1 minute 40-second window, and he's only got a minute 50 left. So you'll basically.
Yeah, he's got 10 seconds to get the car in and back out.
So it's not going to happen.
No. So we've got Luca. He's on the track at the moment. Just right on board him. He's got a bit of traffic in front of him. Just about to start his flyer.
1 minute. Well, actually, that wasn't a flyer out lap. That was an actual flyer. So he set a 1 minute 40 on that lap. So he must have been just taking it gingerly to get through. Oh, just skating on the edge of ploughing to the back of Adri Garcia. Now, this is where it gets dangerous. So we're just watching Leonardo Martin. Now, why are the 2 Mercedes going hammer and tong in qualifying? That was interesting. Just caught a glimpse here of watching Leonardo weaving and getting his tyres warmed up, and then just watching both going line astern down the hangar straight. So,
is Alex gonna get some slipstream off Eric here, or is Eric just gonna bolt?
I would say Eric's gonna bolt because he wants to try and beat. He wants to try and beat that time that's pretty much would have him ahead of Matthew Alia right now. So so
I'll ride on board Eric.
I'll just have a look. This is a moment here. So Alexander's gone off. Actually, he just went straight ahead at the turn. Where is that? That's coming towards the original final turn. So he's gone straight ahead. He has been saying he's been having wheel drama. So that's pretty much. So unless Sterling West can do anything right now to pose a challenge up front, it looks like Diogo Cruz is going to take his 3rd consecutive pole position of the F3, which the only one other driver has managed to do, well, 2 drivers have only managed to do back-to-back pole positions this season in more than 2 times, and that's Daniel Vale in the F1 category with 3 pole positions in a row, and then Sebastian Spicer in F2 with 4 consecutive pole positions. So Diogo's looking pretty well set at the moment to take career pole number 3 and 3 in a row.
Sterling just tapped the grass. That's well wide.
I would say you can get away with that on the best of times. He hasn't abandoned it, so he's obviously going for it. He's gonna get impeded here.
Oh, that is terrible.
Unfortunately, though, that car was already finished the session, so I don't. Whether or not that was actually going to do anything, I don't know. As Adri Garcia now displaces Diogo on the line for a 26.9.
26.9.
I don't know whether. So yeah, I don't know whether or not that was going to be a time capable of displacing Diogo, but unfortunately, it's a case of.
There we go. Someone else has just rammed him.
Cars going into the track, cars going back into pit lane, finishing their laps and just kind of cruising around. So I would not be surprised if Sterling would be a bit upset about that, but unfortunately it's just one of those instances where it was just an unfortunate scenario that he just happened to come towards the back of a car that was already finished its run and couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah. Yep.
So Diogo Cruz denied a 3rd consecutive pole position. In fact, it now becomes 2 pole positions for Adri Garcia, and it's shaping up to be a very interesting race, especially when you look at Yafine back in P7 on the mediums. Now, I did just actually forget that Eric does have a 5-place grid penalty, which will pretty much relegate him to the back of the field. So both Mercedes will start at the back of the field. How would you, in your life of watching Formula 1, racing Formula 1, ever suspect for a minute that you would see both Mercedes at the back of the field?
No.
I mean, yes, it's a game, yes, it's equal cars, but that's still something that just doesn't sit with you.
It doesn't seem like, doesn't it?
So heading into the race, 26 laps, it's a critical circuit because of the way that the pit lane works. You don't want to be caught in a situation where you don't want to double stack. So safety car drivers are going to want to split their strategies as much as possible so that if safety cars come out, then there's no risk of a double stacking effect. You can't really... The undercut here is not as strong as, say, the likes of Spain or circuits that basically, once you're on a fresh tyre, you grip up well and do a lot. Silverstone, it's kind of tricky in that nature. So, if you're going to make a strategy, you stick by it.
Yeah, I think too with that though, it's because you're on the harder tyre as well. So they take longer to warm up and really grip up. And mediums don't. They're not overly grippy to start with anyway, so yeah, like you say, the undercut doesn't affect as much as some other tracks, just because we run the hard tyres around here, I think.
So just looking at all the different tyre strategies, so Adri Garcia, who was originally the best of the choice of the medium tyre options, he went to the softs and punched out a 1:26, which is thing now.
Oh, we just lost him.
Yeah, Alexander is just disconnected. I would imagine it would probably be something to do with his wheel. Unfortunately, I don't... although the formation lap actually got underway when he disconnected, so he could actually still get back in because his car is still tracking around, so... So he can get back in. It is ghosted off, so there is no risk of drivers having accidents with that thing. So The best driver now on strategy with the medium tyre is Leonardo Martins in position 4, followed by Robin Kreft, then Yefene Delacau, and then you've got Aiden Raphael, and now funnily enough Matthew Alia has changed his strategy to run on the medium, so whether he went on the mediums and punched at a faster time, I'm not sure. He is in the 10, so you can't say that there was a random. So there's a odd that Matthew must have come out on the mediums and then did a stop based on that. So now the drivers are basically getting ready to line up on the grid. Diogo's just a little bit impatient, it looks like, because his car's ghosting through Adri. Sterling will be looking to kind of rectify that little bit of a unfortunate mistake in the end of qualifying. Hopefully, we're hoping he gets a good launch out of the front 3, and Leonardo will just be hoping that everyone at the top 3 just stay out of trouble and find their way through Turn 1. Turn 1 is not actually the biggest of issues around the circuit so much. It's more Turn 3. And we had drama here last season in the F2 category, or the GP2 category, when our pole sitter was actually subsequently taken out of lap 1 on the 3rd corner by a rogue car. So either way, the lights are building up. We're about to get ready. Now, strangely,
someone's jumped the start.
That Mercedes, the ghost of Mercedes, it's actually jumped the start. So I don't know. There's such a desync in that measure that it's caught a lot of people out. In fact, Adri Garcia has been heavily wounded by this in the way that he's been plummeted from position 1 right down the order to position. We've got a Red Bull. We have a Red Bull spun off the side there. It's Luca Montagueza, so something's happened there. So Diogo Cruz is now in the lead of the race. He's actually now just made a legitimate overtake on Alexander Rahaz. Now just gonna have a quick check here. Hopefully nothing happens while I do this. So there are a few incidents, but there's actually no indication of a jump. Yeah, no indication of a jump start from Alexander. So, and he's actually rejoined. So this is actually a really big advantage for Alexander right now. So if he can rejoin, at the moment he's going to lose a few handful of positions through here because of the way that AI handles all these corners. He's going to come out roughly at position 8. So we'll just see what happens. Oh no, the car's actually slowing down quite a bit. Where is it? No, there it is there. So if he does rejoin, he's going to rejoin in position 10, which is quite a hefty advantage given his car, given he disconnected. So his car's...
Given his teammates still in 14, and they started pretty much side by side. Side by side,
so and Luca's made up some good ground too, given his spin. He's already actually managed to get past things. So we'll just wait and see what happens there, and how long it takes for. Oh, Matthew Alia with a massive dive. He's actually lost a heap of ground. Or whether it was a dive or he was escorted off, I don't know, but definitely something went wrong there, and it's cost him some time.
This Mercedes is still ghosting by the look of it.
Yeah, so I don't know whether he's got back in, but either way, resume the battle from last weekend, Diogo Cruz versus Sterling West, and then you've got Leonardo Martins, and then Adri Garcia's made a really good recovery from his first lap incident to get back up to position 4. We've got an incident. Robin Kreft has been... I don't know whether he's been turned or he's just lost it coming out of
the old turn 1
through cops, and he's managed to come back through. So, and then Matthew Alia has managed to get back ahead of Alexander, who still does not appear to have gotten back into his car. Whether or not he knows actually how to do it, I don't know. I'm just going to check. I'm just going to be cheeky here and check something here. Where are you there?
131.7.
And no, I cannot take control of the car.
Sterling's still there at 0.7 of a second behind.
Ooh,
and then we've got this Ferrari driver, I forget your name.
Leonardo. They're getting under a bit under siege now from Adri, and the DRS will be online. And in fact, Adri, I don't even think needs to, well, he is using the DRS to full effect and goes straight down the inside. Leonardo doesn't fight. He knows that they're on different strategies, so he's not going to...
Right. Leonardo's just fighting his time.
And
these soft guys, they
got an incident further down the order. Ryan Connolly's, his teammate, is actually starting to fall down the order a little bit. Now, ironically, both Ferraris running the same number. Robin Kreeft now down the inside of Ryan. Oh, is there a bit of desync going on there? Because now they're locked. They're locking horns. There's quite a bit. I don't know what to make of that. That's interesting.
Klaus just made a bit of a...
Oh, they're going to go 3 wide through Maggots and Beckett's here. It's hard to tell whether this is actually happening or whether this is desync. But it's still pretty entertaining nonetheless. Ryan, actually, I'm starting to see some kind of glitchy formations that it looks like it's raining out there. Hard to tell whether it is or not, but now...
it does look like it's raining,
It actually, yes it is. Actually, on my screen now, it's actually full-on raining, so...
Yes, this could be... this could spice up the race.
This strategy has kind of ruined a little bit. I only say a little bit for the medium users because...
Oh, Lucas just got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings.
And he's had quite a comeback himself. He's actually clawed his way right back up to be behind his teammate in position 8. So good recovery there by the Red Bull driver. Now, like I was saying, with the weather, you would think the medium users are slightly disadvantaged by this, but... because of the residual heat thing. Now we saw that because we saw this in Germany last year in the actual Formula 1, where Sebastian Vettel, being on the softer of the compounds, had less grip than the likes of Lewis Hamilton who were on the mediums. So when Vettel got caught in the wet, he was the first one to go off. So the medium users here might be in a good position. You can already tell because the top 3 is starting to bunch up, and then Leonardo has just got the watching brief. Now I'm just going to ride on board with Leonardo here and see. It is pretty bad. The weather is coming down pretty badly now. Yeah, it will be for a little bit. So a lot of these drivers will be now hanging on. A lot of the soft users will probably be nearing their pit window, I would have thought. And the person I thought who'd be making some ground on these people that isn't at the moment is Yefene. So I'm wondering if Britain's not exactly one of Yefene's strongest circuits. Now... oh, we've got him spin here, and it's Ashley Lawrence. So Ashley's had a huge moment here, and he's actually been patiently he actually patiently waited for everyone to go through before coming on track. So despite it being ghosting on, that's a very respectful thing to do. Now I think, through all this, Alexander is back into his car, but he's 8 seconds off the pace of the rest of the field. Must be using his controller because it doesn't look like his... It looks like the way his...
As we say that, Brett, there's been a move for P3.
Oh yeah, Leonardo's gotten back through on it. Adri.
Leonardo's got through. So, you might be right. These soft tyres might just start to be struggling in this slipperier conditions in the mediums.
Had a moment there for one of the... Alexander's had a moment in turn 3, whether he's gone straight off or thing, and then Luca's just now making a move on Gianni. Oh, I don't know. Was that a bump, or was that Genia just getting on the grass? Oh, and as I say that, Luca's now just spun it. Luca's spun it through Cop. So, I keep thinking of the ghosting, but that was. Red Bull's not having the greatest... It looks like they're not having the greatest moment, and Luca's still spinning out of control, so it looks like he needs to kind of...
Matthew's just got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So this rain's starting to play havoc.
Yeah, there was a moment there for Klaas as well, so Klaas has had a moment going.
We got Diego and Sterling both in them.
Yep, DRS has been disabled, so they've called it right.
And this is perfect timing for him.
Oh, and Diogo just narrowly moved himself in front of
Ryan's been given a
5-second.
stop.
And it's not just him. Class with a 5-second stop go for speeding in pit lane. Everyone's pretty much coming in apart from the top two. So
Luke is still trying to get out of Mackers and Beckett. So that just shows how bad this traction is. How wet the track is.
And if you're using anything less than full traction control, yeah, this is a nightmare to deal with. So now, oh no, Genia Bondarenko's been had.
Oh, Luca's got a 5-second stop go as well.
Yeah, Genia Bondarenko's been had. They've put for some reason they've put the hards on. So he's going to have to go back around and do one more lap. So Diogo's gone. We've lost Diogo, the race leader.
No.
Oh, he's lost it through the original turn one.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's horrible. 6 laps in, our race leader puts it into the fence, and pretty much it's game over.
That is.
It's easy enough to do if you get off the traction too early. Now, Genia Bondarenko is going to just drop down the order because he's still going to have to make another stop.
Yefene's dropped right back here. He must have had an incident.
Yeah,
17 seconds.
And we've just lost
left session.
5-second stop go penalty for illegal blocking.
That's blocking though.
That's an interesting statement. Now, Martin's in, Leonardo's in, he's just served as a stop. He's going to lose the lead. He's lost quite a bit of ground, so Sterling West will take the race lead at this point, and disqualified from the session, Luca, for dangerous location parked. I didn't see where that was, so one Red Bull and one Sauber.
When I was last in his car was a pit lane exit picture, so he's somewhere around the pit exit.
His car must have been just automatically stopped at the pit lane exit. So, but both Mercedes still at the rear of the field now. Eric's. Oh, this could be a problem for Mercedes, but because Eric's now coming in. He's got front wing damage, so on our screen it's showing that he's got the soft still on. So wait, now this is weird. Now Genia is still on the hard tyre, but he stayed out another lap. Is it projected that the rain's not supposed to be around for very long, or
is the rain not even meant to be here?
I would say it would be, because everyone's jumped on the intermediate, so they wouldn't do anything as silly as this. But maybe the rain is not projected to be around long enough to be an issue. But even if that's the case, I would still come in and done the intermediate stop and just trundled along. I don't think the strategy, if it does prove to be right,
just waiting for the rain to get heavier and just put full wets on.
I still wouldn't do that, to be honest, because that's a gamble.
Yeah, it's going to cost you a lot of time.
So Sterling holds a 6.9 second lead over Adri Garcia, and then
which is a massive gap from what they were when they come into pits. They're only a second, maybe 1.5 seconds behind each other.
Yeah,
that extra lap on that medium tyre in the wet conditions. So now he's got a lot of catching up to do.
And then you've got Leonardo, Martin and P3, followed by Aiden Raphael. So Aiden's done a pretty good job to be positioned 4, given the amount of races he's missed. And then Robin Kreft on his debut, flying the British flag, currently in 5th place, ahead of Yefene. And then Ashley Lawrence, who's having quite an up and down race today. And then championship points leader Matthew Elliott, who's actually not that far behind the Red Bull driver either. So we could see a battle develop here. And then Ryan Connolly, that's going to help Ferrari earn some decent manufacturer points. And then Klaus makes up the final points position in position 10. Then it's Genia Bondarenko, and then the two Mercs, who are having a pretty average.
Oh, we're just on board here with final Merc coming into sector 3. Just been lapped by Sterling West. He's just holding his car beautifully. He's come alive in this wet weather, hasn't he? He's just something different at the moment.
Yeah, I'm surprised, but I'm really surprised by Junior Bondarenko's fact that he's still on the circuit. It doesn't even look like he's struggling either. Like, no. I'm not seeing any signs of rear sliding or any form of loss of traction. I'm just wondering if maybe it's a glitch on our end that's
telling us
that he's on the wrong tyre both ways. Yeah. Oh, we do too. So Robin has managed to rope in, and that's something that Andrew Garcia wouldn't have wanted to see. 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. So that's going to pretty much, unless Sterling up front has an issue, or if we have a safety car, it looks like Andrew is going to have to really hustle and try and make a move here. But he's also coming under fire a little bit too from...
it looks like he's dropping time. Oh, he's just lapped.
Actually, yeah, there was a Merc there. I think that was Alexander.
Yeah, that was Alexander, yep. So that might have been cause of it.
Yeah, the gap has kind of filtered back in. And Robin Kreff really on the back of Aiden. Oh, Aiden really loose through Maggots and Beckett's here.
A few little battles here.
Oh, and Aiden hasn't had the best run coming out of Stowe, so this could set up down the Wellington Straight for Robin. Will Robin make a move here at...
Gina's lost the position on the hard tyre.
And down the inside goes Robin Kreeft. Aiden gets on the brake just a little later and manages to hold ground here, but will Robin have a dive down here into the last sector? No, he won't. So this is helping Yefene a little bit catch these group. Matthew Elliott has lost the ground that he was gaining on Ashley Lawrence, and is actually now starting to slowly come under threat here by Ryan Connolly.
Ryan, yep.
And then, yeah, as you say, Junior Bondarenko has lost a place to Eric.
Oh, he's gone deep. Oh, he's on the inside. That's a good move.
And job done. Oh, a bit of a touch there that nearly would have. I think Robin had the right frame of mind to just get off the accelerator and not launch himself into the fence. So good driving there from both parties to somewhat respect each other's limitations, and then Robin with the good sense of mind to not put the foot down and then fire himself off into the fence. So that pretty much concludes that battle. The battle between Ryan Connolly and Matthew Elliott starts to fire a fair amount. And as you say that too, Leonardo's now really starting to push into trying to take second place off Adri Garcia. So Sector 2 and Sector 3. Is that one of the Mercs? Yeah, that's one of the Mercs getting out of the way, I think. It's Alexander. Or you don't want to be tucking yourself underneath when you're being lapped here, mate. You want to just ease off, and there's no sense.
That just coming around, and
that's Aiden going around the outside, and then good sense of mind there from Alexander to get out of the way. And
so next to get around him.
And Yefene will be sitting there thinking slow traffic, looking like it's slowing down. Don't you dare do what happened to me in Australia. So
yeah. Oh, this is spicing up between P2 and 3. They've both got 3-second penalties.
And just as you said that, Ryan Connolly's now just made the move on Matthew Elliott. So
Gina's just gotten away with his teammate there. Giving him a bad run, but can the Ferrari...
Oh, he's gonna have a go. He's gonna do it at Cops. He's gonna try and side by side, and he does it. Well done, both parties, and good frame of mind from Adri to just kind of not force the issue and force an accident. So both Ferraris moving up a spot. Both Ferraris now up a spot from on this lap. So The next closest battle still remains as Robin Kreft and Aidan Raphael. Although, in saying that, Matthew Elliott hasn't
back at wrong.
Yeah, he hasn't thrown the white flag up just yet on that. And then, of course, Sterling West now holding out an 11.3 second lead. So Sterling's could be looking to be one of the highest championship contenders coming into the second half of the season. Matthew Elliott having a bit of stroke of luck with a lot of results that have pertained through being fortunate.
Back at the start of the season.
So now some of the faster drivers are starting to come in, and Matt's now just having to try and hold on as much as he can, score as much points as he can. Right now he's on course to score 2 points after a pretty good weekend last weekend to not only bag his first official podium, but to also secure a career best qualifying in position 4, which then related to a P5 finish. So good points last weekend. Of course, our driver numbers weren't as high as they were this weekend, but still managed to score some good points and hopefully keep the threat of those behind just that little bit longer.
Can Leonardo pull in this gap? He's got 1 lap fresher Inters, so that might pay a little bit of effect, but he does have that 3-second time penalty, so...
Well, they both really do, and so this is effectively a race for position. Adri will have to be careful because Robin Kreft could slowly creep back into the game because the gap is starting to slowly diminish a bit. And now, as we say that, Genia Bondarenko has now been overtaken by the second Mercedes. So don't know whether... I'm starting to think maybe Genia has decided, well, I've already stuffed up my strategy by doing this, I won't bother pitting in and changing tyres. So he's obviously looking to try and just finish the race on the hard tyre despite it basically pissing down. He's done a good job, I have to say. 5 laps on dry tyres on a pretty damp circuit is pretty
wet track. Yeah.
I mean, it's not the smartest thing, so you definitely wouldn't consider him a driver of the day material, but you would definitely put him down as one of the most ballsiest drivers of the day.
Yeah. So Yefene's caught right up to Jesse.
Oh yeah, up to Aidan. So
this could be our next little battle here. Yefene's usually got good pace. He showed promising last week. The back-to-back races, so let's see how we go. Let's ride on board here for half a lap.
He's definitely got the measure. Aidan looks like his car just doesn't like to respond in the slower corners. You can see that Yefene can take such a more traditional racing line through the original back section of the circuit heading onto the original main straight, whereas Aidan just doesn't seem to be able to find the apex at all. Coming through Cops, Aidan very, very wide, whereas Yefene is able to actually stick to the circuit. Now coming through Maggots and Beckett's will be a good test. So Aidan still, he managed to he actually swung his way back onto the apex there, misses the apex through Beckett's and then through Stowe.
Just had a clean run through there.
We've got a Sector 3 accident. Oh no, Adri! We've just lost Adri, but where? We'll find out in a second here. We'll ride on board. Whoa, that's an interesting spot.
Just out of...
that's just coming out of... I can't remember what that... I think it's Stowe.
Stowe? Yeah, Stowe. Just coming out of Stowe. There's
obviously...
very
and that's a very interesting place to do it, and he hasn't hit the 90%, so he won't be classified yet either, so that's a blow to Adri. So two top 3 pretty much. The top, in fact our front row basically for the race today, both out of the race.
Yep.
And then Sterling, who started P3 after the altercation, will probably not be so upset about that altercation now. I did see in the Discord team radio saying that an AI Merc ruined his run, so he won't be too disappointed now if he can hold it together. And Aidan's super wide coming out of the area, and Yefene I thought was actually going to be half right, and mine's actually have a dive there. So
Ryan Connolly's dropped the position to Matthew.
Yeah, it looks like... Oh, Yaffine's setting himself up. He's going to make a move through Co. Oh!
Laid on the brakes. Just shut the door in time. Just jumped on board as he was...
I think Yaffine knew he was going to get his nose chopped off, so he planted the brakes. But he'll definitely do it. He'll definitely have a go here through Stowe if he can hold it together. So now this is the part that bugs me. Well, it's not bugs me, but this will be something that Adri will be a little upset about. He's crashed out on just coming up here on the intermediate tyres, whereas his teammate, who's on the hards, is surviving.
On the hards, yeah.
So, you know, one driver that's on the right compound makes a mistake and puts it in the fence. The other driver who's on the wrong compound still hanging in there. So that will be I reckon that will be a little bit of a tough pill for Adri to swallow there. But at least he knew he was giving it a red hot go. And all of this is actually helping Matthew Alia with his championship ever so slightly more, because he's now gone from 2 points to now 6 points.
Yeah. Ryan could take that off him. He's right up his gearbox.
So yeah, these two keep seesawing positions. So every time Ryan makes a move, Matt seems to manage to claw his way back. Now,
hold on, yeah.
It's actually quite interesting. I've just been watching this battle with Yaffine and Aiden. No matter how many times Aiden makes a mistake, Yaffine just can't capitalise on it.
No. Is that a bit of smart racing though, Brett? The Yaffine is just waiting to find that bigger mistake. Like, they're not ultra big mistakes, you know, they're just slight run wide here and bad run out of this corner or whatever, you know, but it's nothing major at the moment. Yaffine's just like, I'll keep your nose clean. And
oh, we've got another Sector 3 incident. Is it another driver? Are we seeing another...
just a Mercedes getting out of the way.
Yeah, must have impeded Leonardo a little bit. Oh, here we go. This could be it. Yaffine's down the inside at Stowe. Oh, Aiden tried to shut the door, but he tried to shut the door, but there was a Renault there.
Aiden's got the inside now. Oh, he's crisscrossed. Go Yaffine.
Yaffine's just decided, yeah, Aiden's being a bit punchy, so I'll punch my way. And Aiden actually, I think Aiden just thought he was done there. So Aiden obviously felt he needed to rectify that, so he's given that place up. Now, He's gone off. Blaze has gone off. Yep, Ashley just caught a glimpse of that for a brief second. He's 22 seconds. There's another Sector 3 incident as well. Is it another? Yeah, no. This time it's Alexander off the circuit at. Where is that?
Oh, Matthew's in pits. Is this wet tyre?
I don't think it is. I would think.
Changing inches by now, surely 10 laps.
It's not an impossibility, but we'll see what happens. So he's coming in now. It is another. No, it's another set of intermediates. So maybe the tyres don't have a life expectancy, or maybe. No. We'll definitely. Yep, look, race leader in.
Oh yes, race leader's in.
So it is a strategy call. So it looks like the tyres don't seem to hold on now. A strategy plan for Leonardo would be to stay out and just go to the end of the race, and he looks like he's doing just that. Now,
try and hold up Sterling a bit, you reckon?
Well, I just reckon just stay out and hope for the best, because as you can see here, Robin Kreft has stayed out, but he's not gonna mount a challenge to Sterling at all.
One lap younger tyres. Jesse's in pits as well.
So Aiden's in. What is Ashley going to do? Is Ashley going to come in as well, or? So the gap between Sterling and Robin Kreft now sits at 2 seconds because of that stop, but Robin will have the advantage of having the warmer tyres, and Sterling will just be looking to try and look after himself. So Ashley's come in. Will Ryan react, or is he going to stay out? Ryan, he thought about it. He was a bit torn on that. He thought about coming in, but then changed his mind.
Blaze is in.
Yep, Ashley in, so let's see what the others do. Does
So go back on board with the leader. Let's see what he does. He's coming out Maggots and Beckett's.
So Klaus stays in. Oh no, they've made a mistake at Red Bull.
Oh, he's put medium tyres on. Oh no.
But why would they do that? Unless it was done by the driver, I don't see why the teams would ever think about putting the dry tyre on. Unless it is projected to stop raining.
Stayed out again.
And as expected, the Red Bull goes into a full pirouette through turn 3.
Yeah.
He was running so strong, so I don't know. I can't put it against me as to why.
He accidentally changed tyres. Driver error.
It could very well be. Now Robin Krefter's in. And Yafine stays out again, so Yafine's obviously feels that track position is a bit more important right now. And it doesn't look like Leonardo's coming in anytime soon. So Aiden...
I'm surprised Gina's still out on his 10-lap old hard tyres.
I can't imagine that there'd be very many. They would be very worn, to be honest.
No.
And we've still got actually, ironically, we've still got Diogo Cruz watching. So whether he's watching through the stream or through the spectator land, we don't know. So Ryan Connolly stayed out again as well. And that's Alexander with a 5 seconds for speeding in pit lane. Still holding down P11, so what? So he's still one place off the points. His teammate's just holding on to that last points position at the moment, and looks like Ashley is actually going to rectify this mistake. No, he's not. He's going to stay out. So,
that's a gutsy call. Sterling's making massive gains here on Leonardo.
Yeah, but that's to be expected when you've got so much fresher tyres. But
yeah, it is. Expected, so that could spice things up at the end of the race.
And because Leonardo does not look like he's planning to come in at all, because
if you're going to cover, you would cover the next lap, wouldn't you? You wouldn't wait.
No, and Yafine's pretty much got the same mindset, so he's not doing anything. We've got a Sector 1 incident. Is that...
You got Klaus and
oh,
Matthew.
yeah, it is Ashley again, spinning off in turn 2.
Can Matthew use these fresher tyres around Klaus?
No, this is a different incident. Actually, different incident, but nothing's showing. But yeah, I think Matt should be able to. Matt needs to just bide his time through here. He doesn't want to be. Oh, Yafine's actually not Yafine. Klaus has just made it so easy for him.
Klaus has just made it.
And Ryan's in too, so that's going to promote Matthew Elliott up to position 6. So that's an extra position, and that's at the expense, pretty much at the expense of
He's only just coming up to Stone now.
Oh, this could be a nasty moment here. Oh.
So this could be... Oh, he's got to serve his 5-go stop penalty.
Well, you got to serve. He was going to serve that anyway, but actually, yeah, you might have had a point if it wasn't just a normal pit stop. Actually, I
reckon Ryan would have come out in front of him if it was just a normal pit stop.
Yeah.
It's going to be very touch and go.
Oh, I think Matt's got him.
Oh, Klaus has got him.
Yeah, but Klaus, I don't know whether he's going to come in or not. I don't think he is going from the looks of it. Now, the gap at the front is 7.3 seconds between Leonardo Martins and... But there's only 6 laps to go, so basically, it's a matter of 1 second a lap. Now, here comes Ryan Connolly. So Ryan is actually about to be lapped by his own teammate here. So, the 2 number 15 Ferraris... hopefully Ryan will make it a bit easier on Martin and doesn't fight. In fact, straight off the circuit goes to 15. Yep, off goes to number 15 Ferrari, and the number 15 Ferrari takes over. I'll have a chat with him about the number thing later on down the road, but either way.
Blazer's come in to put the engines on. and change the front wing. So there we go.
Yep. He's still holding down a points finish at this rate because his nearest rival is probably more than 2 laps down.
Yeah.
So he'll still hold down a point for Red Bull, and where his teammate will be disappointed with his result. No one else looks like they're going to be making any moves. So right now, the gap is 6 seconds. So basically, Sterling has to make a second a lap, but there's a benefit. Ryan Connolly now sits between the two drivers, so Ryan could play a bit of team play here and let back Sterling up to make the gap any difficult. So Leonardo is now just about to start the 21st lap here now. His tyres will be
lost 1.2 seconds this lap on Sterling.
So it is a possibility that Sterling could do it.
Yeah, Sterling's got the pace. And to say that, we've got the same thing with Klaus and Ryan.
Oh
Ryan's
no! Robin Crest just disconnected.
Oh. No.
And that'll be disappointing given that he was in a position to be best of the Brits in position 4 with Ashley Lawrence. He'll be able to get back in, no doubt, but yeah, he's gonna need to do it quickly because Aiden will.
Yeah, Aiden will catch up. It's only 10 seconds off. So Ryan's 4.2, Sterling's 3.9. So we've got a couple of battles coming.
Ooh, that gap dropped. That gap dropped massively in that space. Yeah. That's 2.5 seconds in the space of a few corners. But he does.
I wonder if these inches are about that point.
Well, he's been able to clear. He was able to clear Ryan pretty easily, but there is. I think classes. Yeah, Klaus is another story. I know Klaus has let him through as well. So yeah, now there's nothing stopping them. So what's the gap between Aiden and Robin? It is 6.7 seconds, but because of the AI's ability through the corners, it's not gonna be long before the Sauber makes its move.
No, well, he's already 5.6 in, you know.
That's unfortunate too. I'm sure he'll be doing everything in his power now to just get that. I mean, and it's not just internet. And the thing is, it's not internet connection either. It can be something as simple as the game crashing or your TV crashing or something like that. It's just all these small things that can.
Yeah.
So
you've got a couple of battles here. Ryan's caught up with Klaus.
And then of course we've
been dirty with that.
And then 1.8 seconds now the gap between Sterling and Leonardo. So Leonardo's tried to play the strategy as much as he can, but just doesn't look like he's got the tyres to do it. And very shortly we're going to see a battle, well not a battle, but we're going to see a change of position here as Aiden now within a second of Robin. No sign of Robin getting back on just yet, so hopefully we see him back in and get good to go. Junior Bondarenko still man of the match with those hard tyres, 13 laps. I'm blown away by that survival. And as we expect, change of position. Oh, here we go. So it's now under half a second. And Yafine with a time penalty for corner cutting. Now, actually, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty. Oh no, Sterling doesn't actually have a time penalty. No, it's not him. It was.
No.
It was Diogo and it was Diogo and Adri that both had time penalties.
Or was it Leonardo?
Oh yeah, it was Leonardo. So actually. So Sterling
doesn't even need to make the move.
No, but he will anyway because there's no point.
Oh, he will.
You don't want to win by being second. But whether Sterling knows that there's a penalty or not, I don't know. But we did see Leonardo pretty much give the position up to Adri Garcia, I think it was. Now there is Matthew Ayler to deal with as well for both drivers, but I don't think Matt's going to make it easy for one, harder for the other. In fact, he's made it easier for them both.
Got off track. That's very good racing there by Matthew.
And we got just watching the Mercedes.
Ryan still hasn't got past Klaus yet. Jesse's got past.
I don't know what the odds. I don't know what the odds of this are, but if Robin doesn't get back on the track soon, he could potentially lose 5th to Matthew Ayler. So.
Oh, that's a big gap of 44 seconds. Dude.
But if you look at it, oh, there we go. Now this is where it gets critical. So
this is where it's on.
So now this is for effective race position, and Sterling will probably now think that he has to try and clear 3 seconds. So there's 2 laps to go. Oh, he's thinking about it.
Just showing the nose.
And Ryan's just cleared Klaus. Just looking at the screen there.
Yes, he has too. Yeah. So this is all got spicy here at the end of the race, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are enjoying this. What we are.
Well, basically this is now battle. Oh, there's
another lap car in the way. Oh.
That was Genia Bondarenko, and I don't know whether or not it don't look like Genia paused, but it just didn't look convincing enough. But either way, both drivers being able to get out of the way when it counted. No damage from either parties, but yeah, this is now. Sterling could still throw it up the inside here, but he only has to wait patiently because Leonardo's tyres are 10 laps older than Sterling's, and
I'd be screaming for sure.
I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw a puncture maybe near the end of the race. But either way, I mean, we don't want to wish that upon anyone, but you know, just 17 laps on a set of intermediates, considering Leonardo, huge tank slapper, but Sterling was equally in the struggle zone there.
Back to too far back to counteract anything.
So sector 2, it's Ryan Connolly's had an off.
Ryan's had an off.
He's lost their position to Klaus, and that's actually through Stowe as Maggots and Beckett's, well, before Maggots and Beckett's.
Sterling's tyres starting to go off a bit. 7 laps old.
And this is what I was saying. So lap 10, everyone.
Jesus.
Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't see what happened there, but it looked like Leonardo must have.
Leonardo had a massive.
Oh, and I think Sterling's going to have a go here at turn 1. Sterling's going to go for it. He's done it. Oh, there's been contact. Is Sterling going to rectify that? No, he's not. So that could be subject to an inquiry.
I don't think there was anything on it though, because Leonardo looked to turn into Sterling. Sterling was straight. I was riding on board with Sterling when it happened.
Yeah.
He didn't turn the wheel, so Leonardo might have just been trying to squeeze him a bit more, and Sterling said, "No, I'm not having that."
And Matthew Ayler now with a 3-second time penalty. Yeah, I thought he would be able to do it, but yeah, it looks like Matthew hasn't been able to punch enough time, and so doesn't look like Robin's coming back, but it's still a P5 finish despite that. We have had a case where a driver has won the race even though his car disconnected, and that was last season F2 Monaco when Matthias Vicelli was leading the race comfortably by about 28 seconds. Disconnected with 2 laps to go, but still had enough of a gap to cross the line and take his first official second race win in 3 races. So a good job by him to do that, and Robin's pretty much going to capitalise on a P5 finish despite that, which, given it could have been a P4 finish, is disappointing. But for Aidan Raphael, for his first race in the F3 category, he's going to take the results of a P4 finish. Yefene has recovered beautifully.
We've got Ryan coming back at Klaus.
In fact, Ryan's just made a move on Klaus, and that's job done. Just saw Yefene getting held up there by Genia Bondarenko there. So,
Yefene's got that the rev out glitch for me.
Yeah, so I think there's a fair amount of desync happening at the moment, but either which way, it's not going to be too much of a drama. Now, the thing about it right now is that there's a 2.8 second gap between, 3 second gap now between Sterling and Leonardo. Sterling could still get a 3-second time penalty and could still be under threat, but at this point in time I don't think it's going to happen.
Very skittish.
So of course Sterling West took the honours last weekend to win the... Sterling took the honours last weekend to win the Australian Grand Prix, and looks like he's going to do it again. So 2 race wins out of 3 races in his career, not a bad haul.
No.
And it's definitely showing why he could be a potential candidate to take the honours for the first I would call it the second F3 title, because we did have an F3 last season. This is just a rejuvenated F3, so we will have our second champion crowned. Our previous champion on a sabbatical while he's sorting himself out in the States. So
Klaus is just keeping up with Brian. I do believe Ryan's got another 5-second penalty.
It doesn't matter either way, because Sterling West will cross the line to take victory at the British Grand Prix, his second win of 3 races. And Leonardo on debut will take a podium.
It's very well driven by Leonardo. They're actually 20 laps on the inches.
And the same goes, and the same is said for Yafine as well. He'll do the same. So a strategy call to stay out. We were scratching our heads a little bit, and
I didn't actually think there was any real danger of the inches not making it from lap 6, but there we go. It just goes to show that this track's even hard on the wet tyres, and now that it's the end of the race, it doesn't seem to be racing.
No.
Track was obviously starting to dry. Gina was obviously hoping for 100% race.
Yeah, yeah, true. So the final points place will go to Ashley. So Ashley Lawrence. So what we're going to do now is quickly invite our drivers to the podium, and we'll have a chat with them. So we'll just who did we have? We had so none of them are appearing offline. There we go, all 3 drivers there near the bottom, so hopefully we'll be able to get a chat in. We actually got a message. I'm just going to have a quick no, nothing.
I did say before the race we'll try and talk to the podium people for quick interviews. So
hopefully Sterling this time comes in. Last weekend he kind of vanished before we could have a chat with him. The other 2 drivers, I know Yafine will definitely make a trip to us to have a chat and tell us how his race went, because he definitely I've actually ironically crashed just at the worst possible